Ride and Steel is brought to you in part by
Ray Labby & Sons Incorporated in Brunswick, a family-owned construction company servicing the Mid-Coast area since 1955. Northern Energy Services LLC of Maine, your locally owned business for residential energy audits, insulation, air sealing, and performance upgrades. For all your home energy needs, it's Northern Energy Services.
Thundering, roaring engines, riding steel. Hearts gleaming in the sun, we're riding steel. The rubber hits the road, I'm done doing what I'm told. I'm doing what I want, riding steel. Leather on my back, and the wind in my face. I'm one with the highway, and with the human race. This iron horse will separate the bull from what is real. It's the nature of the beast, we're riding steel. It's the nature of the beast, we're riding steel. We're riding steel.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Ride and Steel. This morning I'm in Durham, Maine at a ride that's being organized in memory of Staff Sergeant Thomas Field. Staff Sergeant Thomas Field lost his life when his helicopter was shot down on a rescue mission in Somalia. So stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back with the people who are putting this ride together, and we're going to learn more about Thomas Field. We're going to learn more about this ride and why they're putting it together, and, you know, for whatever funds that are being raised, what they plan on doing with that. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Staff Sergeant Thomas J. Tommy Field was born April 11, 1968. Field served in the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, also known as the Night Stalkers, an elite group of the Army's best aviators. He was a crew chief on the Black Hawk helicopter shot down during the Operation Gothic Serpent in the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia. The battle ended being the biggest firefight for American troops since the Vietnam War. Sergeant Field survived the crash but was killed when the crash site was overtaken by an angry mob of Somalia militia. His ordeal, and that of his comrades, is the basis for the award-winning movie Black Hawk Down, in which he is one of the soldiers listed at the beginning of the credits that the movie is dedicated to. He was awarded the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Air Medal with Valor Device, Meritorious Service Medal, and Purple Heart.
I'm here with Vice Commander Ben Redmond. And Ben is part of organizing this event for Staff Sergeant Thomas Field. Why don't you tell me what your relations are to Thomas Field and why you're putting this together?
Well, so the AMVETS, our mission is to support the community and the veterans within the community. Tommy is from Lisbon, Maine, our neighboring town. And a lot of the post members knew his parents and obviously knew him and his brothers. And so Tommy's always been near and dear to our hearts. And we thought this would be a fitting tribute to him to organize this memorial ride. He died in October of 1993. He was killed at the age of 25 in Mogadishu, Somalia, in the incident that wound up becoming the major motion picture Black Hawk Down. He was a dedicated soldier. He re-enlisted. He loved his job. He was a crew chief on Black Hawks, and he sought a special assignment to be part of the Special Operations Group, the Night Stalkers. And yeah, and he took a special kind of bravery to be part of that group, and he knew he was going to be in harm's way, and he volunteered to go with everybody else, and sadly lost his life in service to his country. And we feel like the least we can do is set up this ride, do it annually, to raise money to create a scholarship fund in his name. There's no scholarship fund in his name, and we'd like to see one. And that's the purpose of this ride.
And the scholarship fund will go to support other veterans.
It will go to support veterans who need money for college assistance, but it will also be available to children of veterans, spouses of veterans, family members of veterans that want to go to school, and that scholarship will be given to them in his name, in his honor.
Wow. Well, you got a very ambitious project there, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Because when you're reaching out to that many people, chances are there's going to be a lot of help needed out there. And
Sure.
What's the difference between the AMVETS and, say, the Legions and other military, veteran-like organizations?
We're just better. No,
Just better, yeah.
just
Here we go. The rivalry has begun.
Yeah, the rivalry has begun. No, all of the veterans organizations basically do the same thing. There are sort of different standards for being able to get into certain organizations. Some of them you actually have had to have served in combat, and although a lot of us have served in combat. So, but the AMVETS mission is to serve the community of veterans where we live, and also to serve our community. And so we do a lot to give back to local vets that are in need. Say it be somebody who's struggling, they lost their job, and they don't have enough money to put food on the table for their family. That's where we step in and help them out. Or if the local Little League needs a sponsor to buy shirts and hats and pants, we step in and do that.
You're community-oriented,
We
basically,
are
is what you're about.
community-oriented organization, but we have a vet centric focus. That's primarily what we do, but we also help the community with whatever else needs to be done.
So if somebody is watching this particular interview right now, sitting at home in their living room, and they know a veteran or a family that could use help from such an organization, how would they get a hold of you folks? How would they go about doing that?
Well, we have a Facebook page. They can find us right on Facebook. The phone number and everything's listed right there. The email.
We are in the AMVETS in Durham, Maine, by the way.
We're post 13, but all of the AMVETS posts have a Facebook page.
And they all operate in the same manner?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not just, I'm not just speaking for our post. I'm speaking for all the AMVET posts. Every one of these AMVET posts, American Legion, VFW, Marine Corps League, they will all provide vets with the same function. And I think there's sort of a misnomer amongst the veteran community too. So if I could just sort of reach out to those vets that are listening, AMVETS posts and Legion posts and all the veteran organization posts, it's not just a bunch of old guys sitting around talking about World War II and Korea. As a matter of fact, most of the World War II guys are gone. There aren't very many of them left. As a matter of fact, in this post, we have none, zero. Right. Every World War II vet from Durham is gone. Right. But what we do talk about is we create that brotherhood that vets used to have when they wore the uniform, and I think that guys are sort of like, oh well, that's for old timers. I'm 41 years old and I'm a member of this post. We have a lot of young veterans as a member of this post, and we don't talk about the stuff we saw and we don't talk about the things we did. It's just a great way for us to get together because we all understand what it's like to be a vet and to have served.
A lot of my veteran friends are part of motorcycle groups as well because of those same reasons. Well, I want to thank you for having us, and I commend you for your efforts here. And I do hope that families that are watching that have a veteran in their life, or you're a veteran family, if you need help, obviously the AMVETS are here. They could probably use your help as well, for that matter, right? One hand washes the other. That's how this works. And so feel free to contact the AMVETS here in Durham, Maine. More bikes are still continuing to roll in. You got a nice little charge of about 25, 30 bikes here so far. Yep. And so it's not a bad start.
Nope. Right? Next year we hope to have 100 bikes.
Yeah, there you go.
Shoot for the moon.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. As the motorcyclists begin their ride, I thought I would take this time to share with you all some of the research I had done on the battle that had taken Thomas's life. In the early 1990s, Somalia was in civil war, and a man by the name of Mohammed Farah Adi had taken over the government. The UN had sent troops in to assist the civilians with food and protection. Most of the population there resented the forces being present, and UN soldiers were getting killed as a result. In August of 1993, Task Force Ranger, which consisted of various elite operations units from the Army, Air Force, and Navy, was created, and they were deployed in September to Somalia. On October 3, 1993, Task Force Ranger began Operation Gothic Serpent. The mission's goal was to capture 2 leaders that were under Mohammed Farah Adi's direction. 19 aircraft, a dozen vehicles, and 160 men were involved in this operation. The mission was intended to take about an hour. Things went bad quick when the soldiers were to run into resistance from the Somalian militia and civilians. 2 helicopters were shot down with RPGs, and now we were faced with a rescue mission that went through the night. The following morning, a combined task force of about 100 vehicles, including tanks and personnel carriers, was sent in to rescue the U.S. soldiers trapped in the city. 18 U.S. soldiers died that day, and Staff Sergeant Thomas Field from Lisbon, Maine was amongst them. Another soldier from Lincoln, Maine was in that mission also. His name was Gary Ivan Gordon, or as his friends called him, Gordy. He was a sergeant first class for the U.S. Army. It is reported that up to 1,000 Somalian militia and civilians were killed and wounded. After the battle, President Clinton ordered the withdrawal of our forces. This ride that we are on this day, is taking us to the cemetery in Lisbon, Maine, in which Thomas Field was laid to rest. His brother Fred Field will be there to greet us as we honor this fallen hero.
There are members here that did know Tommy, knew his dad, Popeye, and they just felt like this was something that needed to be done. It's long overdue, you know, we're sort of, it's kind of funny in a sad way. We sort of forget about people as time goes on, and it's hard to fit for us being a vet. And I know there's a lot of vets here that are going to participate in the ride. I tell people the AMVETS, every day is Memorial Day to us. Every day is Veterans Day to us. And it's important that we remember the sacrifices of those who have fallen and those who have served. And so we want to pay a fitting tribute to somebody who drove down these same streets, you know, who played in the same fields that we played in, and was a member of this community. So.
What do you think of all these people showing up for your brother?
I think it's fantastic, and not just for my brother, but I mean, I thank you very
For the
much.
whole family.
Yeah, and but I think the whole thing that you voted in to have an annual ride and also to do it for veterans, that's basically what everybody here is for, and I think that's an awesome cause because veterans.
Did everybody hear all right?
In my opinion, is an awesome thing because everybody takes that oath and it's volunteered. And, you know, just your service to our country, you know, that's what makes our country strong.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're going to be a busy man shortly, buddy, so you better get up there, huh?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you for talking with me, Fred.
Thank you,
Good
Stevie.
to see you again,
It's
buddy.
very good to see you, Steve. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with an opening prayer. This is our chaplain from Post 158, American Legion. He's going to lead us in the prayer.
Hats, please.
You might not need it.
I want to first of all thank all of you for coming and showing the support of this beautiful event. The God of heaven and earth, our Creator, grant to us the living, the feeling of responsibility for carrying on the great works of those beloved ones who have given their lives for glorious freedom's sake. Grant that their deeds and their noble sacrifices may bring us closer in peace and mutual understanding, and that all nations may turn from war and again place their faith and their trust in you. Teach us our responsibility for those who have died for us, for humanity, that they may reconsecrate our lives to humanity. Teach us a nation loses its freedom when it loses its God, and true liberty is found in following your divine commandments. Give, O Lord, our God, a great reward to our beloved dead, that in union with you, they may look down upon a world in love and peace. Amen.
Amen. All right, for any of you that don't know, I'm going to introduce Fred Field.
All right, I want to take the time to thank all you AMVETs today, veterans and friends alike, for contributing to help other veterans, and thank everyone here to pay respects to my brother Tom. And on today's ride, we thank you on behalf of me, Jim, and our families. I want to thank the AMVETs of Post 13 in Durham for naming your annual cause after my brother, the Army Staff Sergeant Thomas J. Field Memorial Ride. Just a few words about my brother. Tommy was only 25 years old and part of the elite Special Operations group of Airmen Rangers formed in Grenada called the Night Stalkers. As they flew missions with night optics and no running lights, they ran these choppers at over 300 miles an hour at treetop level. Tom was also crew chief, instructor, and trainer for the 160th Division, and has a new crew chief training installation building named after him that was dedicated to him in Virginia. Black Hawk Down was one of the missions Tom ran on October 3rd of 1993. Where 18 elite soldiers were killed and over 73 injured, took its toll that day. And I wanted to just take a moment of silence for him and them. Now take a look at every serviceman you know, not readily recognizable in plainclothes: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, active duty, or reserve duty. Everyone that has served this country and is serving a great country today, I salute each and every one of you. It's your personal choice to volunteer to protect and honor our very Constitution, and in taking that oath, I commend every veteran. Thank you from the heart, and if Tom was standing here today, he would have a big smile on his face like he always had. And he'd be holding out his hand to shake yours. So thank every one of you for being here today. It's a beautiful day out, and I'm glad you got your Harleys out to give it a spin today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stevie.
Okay, now our post commander for the American Legion, Post 158. I'd like to say a couple of things. We've all known the Fields family for all of our lives, and he'd like to say a few words.
Thank you.
I'd also just like to say that it's an honor and privilege to be here today. I didn't know Tommy personally, but I did know Freddie. And we are all brothers and sisters in arms. That's what we're here for, is to take care of veterans and their families. And again, thank you all for participating, and let's get on with this. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Now the chaplain again will give the closing prayer.
And I thank you.
No, thank you. Thank everyone here. Thank everyone for
I'd like to Have everybody say the Lord's Prayer. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul and guides me along right paths for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
All right, we're back here at the AMVETS after a wonderful ride. I'm standing here with
Rodney Gagnon.
Rodney Gagnon is a good friend of Thomas Field and the family, I assume, right?
Been friends with the family all my life.
Right. It was great. We went to the cemetery where Thomas has been laid to rest. As a kid, what was Thomas like? You know, what was his character like? Was he the loyal, devoted, person that he proved to be in the military?
I always pictured Tommy doing just what he did. He was always gung-ho on everything he did and just wanted to do whatever he could for other people, and that's how he died. Right. It was a sad thing.
You got to stand next to Fred over there at the cemetery and stuff, and being such close friends and everything. What did you think when you looked across from you and you saw, 60 leather-clad bikers standing there in honor of him?
It's amazing. People still have a heart out there. They still have feelings. That it's just amazing to see and to ride and look behind you and see all the lights and the bikes behind you. It's just, it pulls at the heartstrings.
You must have felt a great deal of pride and some kind of form of joy to see Fred be on the receiving end of that.
Absolutely.
Of that collective effort on his behalf. Right.
When Fred started showing emotion, that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
It means everything.
We touched the man's heart, didn't we?
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely does.
I want to encourage you to go to my website at www.rideandsteel.com. Please register and become a member. Find me on Facebook under Stephen Marois. If you have a charity ride that you're organizing, I can be contacted at 504-1631, area code 207 for you New Hampshire people, and maybe Massachusetts is watching. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for this wonderful ride.
This is the first annual. Next year, we're going to make it bigger.
That's right. And be on the lookout for this ride. The Staff Sergeant Thomas J. Field Memorial Ride.
Correct.
Right. And with that said, folks, thank you for watching Ride and Steel.
This is Kevin Gamrat, and what are the Sons of Armageddon?
We're a law-abiding motorcycle club that do charity work for our vets, for our children, whatever it is.
Yeah, awesome. So how often do you get out and do that?
As much as we possibly can. We're a nation. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a great organization. I've been along with it for 3 years now.
Oh, okay. So where are you out of?
We don't claim no territory. We're out of everywhere.
Okay. But you're from Durham or what?
I'm from Lisbon Falls itself.
Oh, okay. So did you know Thomas?
Thomas was my classmate. Graduated together. Good friend. I know his whole family.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't have missed this for the day. I pre-scheduled some stuff around to be here today, and I wasn't going to miss it.
Well, thank you for being here.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. He's our vet.
Thank you.
He served our country great. We miss him.
So, Brandon, how do you feel the ride went?
Went fantastic.
All right.
Great turnout for our first event, and the next ones are going to be even bigger.
Yeah, I liked how you guys had a nice ceremony, and Fred was there to see us coming in and say a few words on behalf of his brother and everything. Good job.
It was really great to have the family there, and really great to have everybody here supporting this event.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I've been sick to stay West Texas.
Please consider joining us for the second annual Staff Sergeant Thomas J. Field Memorial Ride to be held on August 26, 2017. Please go to www.rideandsteel.com for details.
So first of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out for the first annual Thomas Field Memorial Ride. Great turnout. Hopefully next year we'll double this and then triple it and just keep getting bigger and bigger. So the first thing I want to do is just have a quick moment of silence for Tommy, and then I know that if Tommy were here, he would say, I don't want you just to acknowledge me, I want you to acknowledge the other 18 Americans that fell that same day, and we're going to read the names. But let's everybody bow our heads for a quick moment of silence. Take your caps off, and let's remember Tommy. "19 Americans were killed in the Battle of Mogadishu, including Staff Sergeant Thomas Field of Lisbon, Maine, and Gary Gordon of Lincoln, Maine. We want to read the names of the Americans that were lost. Donovan Briley, Daniel Bush, James Cavaco, William Cleveland, Thomas Field, Earl Fillmore, Raymond Frank, Cornell Houston, Gary Gordon, Casey Joyce, Richard Kowalewski, Timothy Martin, Dominic Pilla, Matthew Ryerson, Lorenzo Ruiz, Randall Shugart, Jamie Smith, and Clifton Wolcott. Freedom isn't a birthright, it's a privilege. It's a privilege secured by the brave men and women that serve this country every day and are willing to lay down their lives so that we can do this today.
Ride and Steel is brought to you in part by Ride and Steel is brought to you in part by
Ray Labby and Sons Incorporated in Brunswick, a family-owned construction company servicing the Mid-Coast area since 1955. Northern Energy Services LLC of Maine, your locally owned business for residential energy audits, insulation, air sealing, and performance upgrades. For all your home energy needs, it's Northern Energy Services.